Men, and I use the term loosely. Back on the Into Deep project. Yeah, I think I am. Busted out bottom of the transmission case the other day. Yeah, that was a problem. But anyway, we're going to keep on plugging here. The pinion shaft, I could feel a little roughness on it. Well, striations, I'll call them. We'll see how that works out. I'm going to have to, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do today is we're going to take the pistons off of the flywheels and check the runout of the assembly, and then check the runout of the individual shafts, and then maybe, time permitting, we're going to lap the rod bearings and see what size bearings we need. So anyway, pinion shaft does have a little sign of damage on there. That could be a problem. We'll see. I got to take the pistons off to be able to rotate the flywheels in the stand, and this is the front one. Yeah, front one. And the piston pin clip is not fully seated. I could get right underneath it and lift it up out of there. So, these pistons, they've obviously been run for a while. They're not horrible, but, how long would this have lasted with the clip not completely seated? So, yeah, that's a problem. Not for me, but it could have been a problem. So anyway, we're going to take this out, take these pistons off, put it in the truing stand, and see what the runout on it is. All right, here's the flywheels in the as-removed state. I like to check them before I tear them down, just so I could see what I'm working with. And these, of course, are not good. Let's get you in closer there. Okay, pinion side. Let's see, we'll zero up here by the crank pin. Looks like about +2 to -2. So about 4th out. That's pretty typical. 5 to 7, well, 4 to 7, 5 to 7 is what I typically see on a set that's been in service for a while. All this tells me is that there's nothing grossly wrong with these wheels. All right, I swapped over to the sprocket side and zero. Let's see what we got on the sprocket side. Oh, sprocket side is just a scotch over, well, a scotch under 2. So the sprocket side technically is within limits. So these really aren't too bad. Good to see something on this bike is as good as I hoped it could be, if not a little better. So this is not bad. I got the pinion shaft between centers on the lathe, and the surface that goes into bushing over here is a little irregular, not horrible. It could probably be polished out, but let's see what the runout is on it. Just arbitrarily picking a 0 on the dial. So we're +1. Well, we're a scotch over +1. If I'm going to true the flywheels to 0.002 or less, which the book limit is 0.002, I've already used 1,000th up on the run out of the shaft. So this shaft is probably no good. Okay, this is a shaft I've had laying around. I run, once in a while I run across some used stuff and I save it. And here's a used shaft that I've been saving. The part that goes into bushing is nice and smooth, and the runout on this one is a couple of 10,000ths, maybe at the most, maybe a 10,000th. So this is a very good shaft. We're going to go ahead and use this one, and I'm going to junk the other one. All right, here's the sprocket shaft between centers, and I really hope this is good because I don't have a spare one of these laying around. And this looks like it's in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 3 or 4 10,000. So this one isn't bad. This one will work too. So yeah, I got a good sprocket shaft here, and I got a good used pinion shaft I'm going to use in this motor. All right, I got the crank pin chucked up, and I'm barely putting any pressure on the threads. Mostly what's holding the crank pin is the live center is pushing the flat area up against the jaws, because obviously you don't want to screw up the threads. And you could see, the surface where their bearings have been running and the area between the cages where there was no bearing contact. So I got a piece of 1000 grit sandpaper, and we're just going to polish this up a little bit. You don't want to go onto the tapers because you'll screw the taper up and you won't be able to get it to true. So I stay off of the tapers. And just about all the traces of, where the bearings were rubbing and where they weren't running on the pin are gone. So all right, this is just very rough. Just tossed it together, stuck it in a truing stand. I'm on the sprocket shaft side, and that's damn near perfect. Let's flop it over to the pinion shaft side. All right, I'm on the pinion shaft right now. Let's see, let's zero her up right there. Ooh, that's not so good. What do we got there? That's about a +3, +2.5, and a -2. So that's off by 4. So, yeah, I don't know. See, it's 0 at the bottom, and it's 0 at the top. This side is high, and the other side is low. So that means this side here is going to need a kinetic adjustment. I'm getting tired, but you know what? Let's give it one kinetic adjustment and see what happens here. All right, I got a wedge on the side that's low, holding it up. We're going to back some tension off of the truing stand. The indicator is off of the flywheel. And I got to move it, 2 thousandths. So I need about a 2 thousandths smack. Let's see how he did. All right, 0 over here. I was 0 with the crank pin. Whoa. So the side that was 2 thousandths high, and I marked on it, it was 2 thousandths high, is now 5 thousandths low. Why, my kinetic adjustment is really out of whack here today. Okay, opposite of the crank pin, it's back to 0. And now the side that was low is high. And back to 0. All right. Let's see. Let me mark this one. That's a plus 6. Alright, I'll share one more kinetic adjustment with you. And I think I'm going to go have some supper. So 2 pretty stout whacks was way too much. But I got to move it farther this time. So I think I'll go with 1 pretty stout whack. Same thing, the centers are loosened on the truing stand. Could rattle it around a little bit. Indicator is off of the shaft. Let's see how that one did. All right, I'm 0 over here. Let's see. Let's see if I made out any better. Whoa, that's looking good. Damn. Well, it don't get any better than that. But now, of course, you got to go back over to the sprocket shaft side, and you know it was almost perfect, so it's probably totally out of whack now. All right, on the sprocket shaft side, let's see if I made it much worse. Whoa. Man, these are good to go. Almost perfect. Of course, the nut is not quite up to full torque yet. And when it's at 125 right now. When I'm going to torque it up to 140, see where the hole lines up, and then take it the rest of the way. It will probably move a little bit. All right, I ran the nut on the sprocket shaft side of the crank pin just about up to full torque. I'm not going to add any more to it. I got it up to 140. Took about another 6 or 7 pounds to get the holder lined up for the lock plate. I'm just going to leave it there. That's close enough. So I'm on the pinion shaft side. That's about a half, maybe 3/4 of a thou, so that's well within acceptable range. Now we'll shoot over to the sprocket shaft side. Oops. Getting a Noga indicator base lined up could be a little tricky sometimes. Okay. I'm at the lined up with the crank pin. I'm at 0. +1, +1.5. Oh, and it did not return to 0, but that's okay because it's going from about +0.5 to plus 1.5. So yeah, both sides are well within limits. I'm going to put the lock plate on this and lock it down. This is ready to be assembled. That's tomorrow's job. Right now, tonight, I am out of here. We'll see you all later. Thanks for watching. Bye. Men, if you like this channel and this content, the single most important thing you could do to help grow this channel is to hit the subscribe button. I also have new design coffee cups and stickers available. You know, I like the old coffee cups, but I like these new ones even more. Links are included in the description down below. And for those of you who really want to go the extra mile, you could join me on Patreon. Link is also included in the description down below. And to all of you who have watched these videos, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye. And now, 2 words from our sponsor.
Super clean.
Ooh, nice.